Linda Schneider is with us today. I need every time. Well, we'll also repeat, y'all. Very good. Let's not forget, whatever. Everybody, so let's have a good time. Let's party up. Party up. Funky, funky, funky. Weekend. Last night, on radio. So the club on the line. Right now, right now, let's do it. And there's Jersey. Where is DC? California, where you at? What's up? Oh, hey, Ohio in the house. Love y'all over there. I know you. Why? Hi, Linda. Mark, she's muted. I'm not sure why. Linda, I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Unmute. Unmute, sweetie. Unmute. Yeah, unmute. Yeah. Mark, shoot her a quick text. See if we can get her unmuted. While we're working on getting Linda Shy to unmute it, we're going to tell you a little bit about what we're going to talk about today. We're going to get into a little bit of the politics, a little bit of the politics, high price prostitutions and dirty politics. And we're going to make sure that we really chop it up with Linda and talk about some serious things that she's a big part of. Yeah, it's been a long couple of days, so forgive me. My voice is a little hoarse right now, but we're gonna make it through because you know what the power of the one and the funk can do for you. I need everybody to check out this show. We're doing good things. We got a lot of good things popping off in February, Black History Month. We got a full slate of some serious guests. So we're gonna make sure that we try to cover all bases, including everything that goes funk. That's with the funk. We're going to make absolutely sure that we try to cover everything. Linda, you got your volume back. How you doing?
I think so. Can you hear me now?
You look so beautiful. Oh my God. Let me take off my glasses so I can see what they ain't looking at. Here we go. How you doing?
I'm doing okay. And yourself?
Beautiful. I'm all right. Little hoarse, but hanging in there. A lot of talking. So
well, everything you said before just now, I didn't hear anything you said. So we were having issues with the mics and stuff. I couldn't hear you. So now we're back on point. So
now we're back on point.
Carry on.
And I was just bringing you in, and I was just telling them a little bit about what we're gonna chop it up with today. So you didn't really miss anything.
Cool.
Introducing you again. I'll start at the top. Linda Scheid is in the house with us, beaming in. What part of the country are you in? Where are you at, Linda?
I'm right outside of DC, where it looks like Afghanistan. Okay.
Oh, okay. Wow. Okay.
We have so many troops, the troops and all the barbed wire and all that stuff. This place looks like in the green zone in Afghanistan. Seriously.
Wow, we got to talk about that because that's something that we as Americans are not really used to seeing in
Well,
this
we're
day.
not either, but this is insanely different, ugly, and scary. And go ahead, that's just me saying what I think, what
Wow,
I see.
I don't blame you.
Because yes, it is a thing of when you're not used to seeing that, and then you have to wake up one day and all of a sudden people are trying to overrun the Capitol building. I get it. It's just, yeah, one day you go to bed thinking, hey, we could get through this maybe, and then the next day here we are. We're gonna chop that
Yes,
up a little bit later.
yes.
So first of all, I want to ask you, how's your family doing?
Everybody's good. We've been staying safe as much as we can.
Uh-huh.
We're in the confinement thing. It's like Christmas was kind of weird because nobody was here, and
Yeah,
it's like this whole last year was just ugly, and it
yeah,
seems
it
like
was.
it's carrying over to this one too,
Totally. They
unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately, you're right. And it's funny because for the first time, even though COVID hit and everything, my family that's scattered all over, we actually got on these Zoom calls
Uh
for
huh.
Thanksgiving, and then we did one for Christmas, and then we did one for New Year's. So people that haven't really never met before. Oh, Linda's gone again. I'll wait till she gets back and ask her this question. Sir Nose is definitely messing with it. And you know what, folks? I'm sure it's that pending snowstorm that's coming in. Every time something happens with a blizzard or something like that, or a snowstorm, it starts to funk with the funk. But you cannot funk with the funk. I got one of the best producers ever, Mr. Mark Lee, the main man behind the glass, always keeping it real, always keeping it solid. And I'm sure he's going to work with Linda behind the scenes to get this problem fixed. There are also a lot of weird things happening in the air. We had this really powerful full moon that came through. It energized a lot of people. Some for the good, some for the bad. So that wasn't really the coolest thing. Again, I'm your host number 9 right here, 9 on the grind TV, funk from the front seat. And I just want to tell you a little bit about next week's guest is going to be Lisa Marie out of Yakima, Washington. She runs the Art Awareness Project. She's also involved in San Francisco's homeless project, Feed the Homeless. This is one of the hardest working women I've ever seen, and she's going to be my guest next week. And also in the month of February, returning for her monthly engagement with us is going to be Chrissy Key Rollins. As well, I got a special treat for you. I got Joe Keys and the Late Bloomer Band. They're going to come back on and jam live with us. So you guys hang in there. It's going to be a really, really good February. Obviously, it's Black History Month, so we want to try to recognize and do some things. And speaking of that, we lost 3 giants again. Again, I don't know why everything is in threes. I have no idea why things are in threes, but we did lose 3 giants. I'm gonna start at the top with Cicely Tyson. Rest in peace, Cicely. We all remember that iconic footage of you walking to the water fountain up those steps to take a drink when that was never allowed before. Um, and you were not the first, but you were one of many who broke that color barrier and started the fight that we will continue to do. And I promise you, Cicely, up there, we're going to finish it. One of my other favorite comedians, Cloris Leachman, also, funny, 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 young Frankenstein, Blazing Saddles, very funny lady, was always the epitome of class and things like that. Hold on 1 second. Hi, Linda. How are you? Yes, yes, Mark. If you back there, pop on for a second, please, sir. We're having all kinds of weird troubles today. It's bizarre, but you know what? You can't stop the funk. Could
Hey,
you
how's
just
it
do me?
going there?
Linda can't get on. Would you mind just giving her a quick text?
I just did that. I was on top of it already. I was texting her on that because I'm on top of things. So I was
I
already
totally
texting her.
said I totally said that you are the man on top of everything. I don't know how you have so many hands, but you actually get it done. And I think she was having the same problem that I was having. And I think it's related to maybe this pending storm coming up. I'm not really sure, but sometimes technology, you know how it is. So for everybody out there watching, we apologize. We're working on these technical difficulties. Like I told you, I got the best man for the job right next to me on this side. Mr. Mark Lee also has plenty of shows. Got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 20. Got 3, 4, 5. Like Bron said, not one, not two, not three. All these shows, producing for everybody. One of the hardest working, one of the most in the know kind of men that I ever seen down here in North Carolina. If I want to know who somebody is, I go ask this man right here, Mr. Mark Lee. Chances are he knows who they are or knows somebody that knows them. So a lot of times, Mark is one of my go-tos. I have a couple down here. Mark is one of them. So yeah, man. I think that because of the weather, we might be having some issues, but I'm not really sure. But
Yeah,
I
I'm
was
not
going
sure
to
either.
I thought we had 3, we lost 3, and I had gotten to my second one, Cloris Leachman, which was really, really cool, really, really funny. Young Frankenstein,
Right.
she played Buka, which I loved every time. I loved her comic and her wit in that movie. And
Oh,
then, of course, the man that is the reason why we all get behind the glass, Mr. Larry King,
yes.
our third person that was lost, Mr. Larry King. Sorry that happened to that man, but he had been diagnosed with some type of CA. Yes, yes, I hear you.
And it looks like Linda's back in the house. I was going to bring her back in, but I was going to just mention one other person out of the sports world that we lost as well, which is the legendary coach of Temple, John Chaney. And he was in that same
Uh,
category with John Thompson and a number of other great coaches in our community. Definitely trailblazer as an African American coach of a major, predominantly white university and all of that. So he definitely falls in that category of being a powerful coach. And he was somebody
all
else that
right.
we lost.
All right, there we go, John. Yeah, the gentleman from Temple as well. So thank you, Mark, for getting that back straight. Linda beams back in. We were just giving a few thoughts about the 3 people that passed away before we chop it up with the politics. We lost the
Yeah, well,
giant.
Cecily Tyson, Greta
Yes.
Thomas, one of the P Funk Horns, and I saw her in A Trip to Bountiful in, I guess, 2013. I'm so proud that I actually got the chance to see her do her thing because she was so awesome in that. So
Yes, it was.
awesome.
How
Not
old
to
was she
mention her
then?
career. I think she probably was, I guess, in her early 90s
Wow.
and playing a lady that was in that area, but she just played it so well. The
Yeah.
original one was Geraldine Page playing that role when she was old, and I had seen the original movie, but to see her
Uh,
actually do that in person,
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah,
it was so beautiful to actually have a
yeah,
chance to see her do her thing.
yeah. It was. Could you just back up a little bit? Like, yeah, right there is perfect. That's
Yeah.
perfect. Boom. Perfect. There we go. Boom. Yeah. So we were basically just talking about for a hot second before we jump into our topic today. And again, our guest is Linda Scheider, wife of the legendary guitarist P Funkadelic, and Rock and Roll Hall of Famer, and all his side projects with the Gary Scheider, mom of Garrett Scheider, and aunt and uncle aunts of Tim Scheider. The Scheider tree is huge, it's
Yes, it
large, it's
is.
very large,
Yes,
and
it
that's a
is.
beautiful thing. And from what I understand, it's only getting larger because I see the little ones. I see the little shiners. I see them in the pictures on Facebook. So welcome.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, we love to have you on this show. We're going to have you on as much as you want to come back. But tell us a little bit about your early days of understanding in your own right as a black woman and activist then what Cicely was doing and parallel that as well. What did you think?
Well, I guess because she only took roles where she had some respect as a black woman
Yes.
in Hollywood, for years when we were always playing maids or slaves. And like I said, she kind of like set the bar for everybody else coming after her. Like
Yeah, she
all
does.
the Sirajis and Olivia and all these other women who were also doing that same thing, not taking just any role for the money and just having some self-respect to say, no, I'm not going to do this because I don't like how it looks.
Yes, yes,
And so,
yes. I think when her and as a kid, I remember seeing her and Sidney Poitier do exactly what you just said. They would not take roles that was beneath them. And
no,
for that, I credited them for that. And they broke that barrier. They broke through, along with a few others, Lita Horne and, Harry Belafonte and,
yeah,
Bill Cosby. People forget Bill Cosby. He had a major role in what black entertainment was. And
yes,
even though he's got twisted into some stuff that I still think is all BS, you know what I'm saying? But be that as it may, Cicely was a giant. She was a pioneer, and somewhere that woman deserves a statue. I'm not sure where she's from, but that woman deserves a statue. She wasn't the first, but she took it from Rosa and from Emmett Till and all of them and
yeah,
carried it into the entertainment, which was
yeah,
hard. It was very
yes,
hard. I'm sure.
yeah,
I'm sure.
especially to work regularly in Hollywood because of the
Yes,
stereotypes. They
that's
were
right.
so
That's right.
intense with that, you know.
Yep. Yep, that's right. That's right. Here we are again hanging out on Funk from the Front Seat with Linda Scheider. And so, Linda, last time we spoke, or as they say in England, last we spoke, love,
Uh-huh.
it was pre the election and it was
Oh,
pre,
oh, yes, yes,
right?
yes,
Right? So
yes,
your smile and your demeanor is slightly different now. We were smiling then, but we were both in the same mindset of we have to get this done. All right.
yes. And we
Now,
did, but the
and we did.
repercussions of that have been and still
Yes,
going on intensely crazy with these
that's right.
Republicans. The
That's
Republicans
right.
and their whole thing is still not wanting to say that it was a valid election after all these months and all the damage they did at the Capitol
Yep.
a couple of weeks ago.
Yep.
Still digging in, and this chick, the green woman from Carol from Georgia, with her saying she wants to kill
Oh
Pelosi,
my God. Yeah.
and they won't even speak up to denounce her stuff. It's like
Yep.
the Trump thing is still kind of carrying on in the Republican Party, and
That's right.
until they
So let
divest themselves of him, it's going to always be this bad. I mean,
that,
the contradictions between the Democrats and Republicans and where they stand right now is really intensely deadly to me.
yeah,
You
it is.
know,
Yeah, it is.
the
Yeah,
end
it
of
is. So
democracy as we know it, or thought we knew
that's
it.
right. That's right. So let's start here. Um let's go back to the night you witnessed, or we as the country witnessed, Carmella actually walking across that stage. Let's start there and work our way down. So that's a proud moment for all black women and all women
Yes,
of color and non. So
yes.
tell us your thoughts and feelings.
Well, I have a lot of AKs in my family, so I know they were probably flipping over in ecstasy about that. You know,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was I was pledging when I met Gary, and I decided to go on the road instead of staying in college for that year. So I kind of missed it, but for I know the AK sorority is like beaming about her choice and her
Yeah.
being a part of their thing. You know,
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
have two
I
cousins, like I
I
talked to, and they're like, "Yeah, girl, skiwi, we got it, we got it, we got it." You know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's weird because I never got into sororities or fraternities ever. I really the only one I'm in is the Alpha Beta Psycho Disco Bio Aqua Dulu fraternity. That's the only one I'm in. All right, so everything else, and even but you like that, right? But see, that was Gary that told me to say that. He just beamed it and told me to say that test now just to make you laugh. But what it is when I saw the Chucks, the Converse, Chuck Taylors, and the pearls everywhere, I knew it was some kind of thing,
Yeah,
right? I knew I was like, hey, this this is a thing. So
when you cross over the golden sands of Alpha Kappa Alpha, you get a pin with 20 pearls. The 20 pearls
okay,
is very significant to that sorority. That's when you know that you were in that inner sanctum, you know?
right, right.
So that's why
So
everybody was wearing them.
yep. Al Rashad is watching. For all those you that's watching out there, Al Rashad wanted me to ask you your thoughts on, Cicely being married to Miles Davis in
Hey,
that era.
hey, hey, She
That's
was.
Al Rashad from Florida.
They said that she kind of calmed him down when he was in some dark moods, and
Yeah.
it's like you see a lot of Hollywood women going with musicians on some level. Like even back into the 40s with Betty Grable and Harry. What was his name? Harry.
Oh yeah, yeah,
You
yeah,
know who I'm talking about? So
yeah, yeah, yeah. Exactly.
this is kind of something that kind of just happens. You're in the
Yeah,
spotlight, you meet people also in the spotlight, and you find some kind of way to make a relationship out of it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I know she was from Harlem. Thank you, Mark. I know she was from Harlem, and I know that New York thing that she had. You could see a lot of that grit and toughness, that northeastern grit and toughness
Yeah,
in her
yeah.
work.
I'm
So
sure she
yeah.
I'm sure she put him in check on certain occasions. I can just see
Oh
that
yeah.
because
That's
of
why she
her.
didn't take Miles' stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep, yep, yep. So going back to Carmella, she walks across the stage. She puts her hand up, and we all get that feeling. We're touched. I got two daughters, 12 and 13.
Head
I
up
got
high.
emotional. I will. I will.
Get
Hello.
Yeah, her
Taylor and
head up
I are
when
probably watching, so hello.
she.
I got that feeling inside that I had when Barack got in. Same feeling. You
Yeah,
know what I'm saying?
yeah,
And I was so
yeah,
happy to see that, and it was such a moving moment for all of us. White, black, rich, poor didn't matter. There are so many of us in this country that are on the right track. It's just the
yeah,
ones that are not. They have the biggest mouths and the loudest voices. That's why this show is so
yeah.
very important. That's why having
And
you
the
on
and,
as a
and the most guns.
that's right,
The
and the
most
most guns.
guns.
Unfortunately, that's right. That's why having you on as a mouthpiece and an activist is very, very important. So Joe gets in, and they get into they walk in their very first, White House briefing, and it's a mess. It's like a
Uh-huh.
crack house.
Uh-huh.
They turned the White House
Uh-huh.
into a crack house, right?
Well,
Now,
I hope they disinfected it before he put all his stuff in there because
yo, I'm
all the
telling you right now,
all the COVID people that were sick in that place, I hope they first of
that's
all
right.
got rid of all that virus before he put
That's
all
right.
his belongings in that place. Because
Amen. Amen.
maybe once again Trump might have been trying to sabotage him and make him sick.
Yep, that's what I thought. Yep, that's what I thought. I said there's something in there that don't belong there. So as we
Yes.
jump back a week or two before that, January 6th, right, 2021 will always be
Mm,
known as Insurrection Day because that's when they pulled
yes.
it off. Now we talked about this
Yes,
off air
indeed.
before you came on, and this is something that I wanted to save for the meat of this show because this is very important. When you saw that happen, what was going through your mind? And you're right there. I want you to tell everyone exactly what you told me. You're right there.
That's why my heart was in my mouth. And because of that, 2 days before, we were getting emails and text messages about having our black men off the street because they were coming for them and were going to like try to do harm to any black man they saw in the area on the street or anything. That was already going on here, making everybody kind of uncomfortable. But to actually see that and see that they let all those white people walk in there, do all that damage. They peed on the floor, they pooped on the floor, they took
Oh my
documents, they
God.
stole computers and stuff, and then just let them walk home comfortably out of there with no. And everybody, the first thing everybody was saying in my area was if that had been a Black Lives Matter protest and they had stepped on the Capitol and with that kind of vibe, there would have been murders, people would have been arrested on the spot, probably killed, even trying to open the doors. And they left all those people because they were white and affluent, many of them, come in there, do all that damage, and walk the hell out of here and go home.
Yeah.
Now they're going across the country trying to find them. But hey, a little bit too much, too late.
Yeah. Can you pull the camera back a little bit? There you go.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah. There you go. Yes, because when I saw it, I'm sitting on the couch like every other human being in this country and around the world, and I'm like, wow, we're here now. You know what I mean? We're reliving what our ancestors went through during like the Civil War. Not as bad, but like you said, they hate us, and I don't know why. You know, not everybody, but they hate us for that group of people, and they were spurred on by that man. They really were.
By the president and his son and Rudy Giuliani and Kevin McCarthy
Yep.
and Cruz and that guy from Wisconsin.
Yep.
I can't remember. Just the whole, and that chick from Georgia. Those people are the ones that are still perpetrating that myth that this was a false election. This man didn't win, and justifying why they will allow these people to come and do what they did to our capital,
Yeah.
to our
Yeah.
house, our place, where we're
Yeah.
supposed to make laws and not have people trying to destroy. And like I said, pee and poop on this in the corners, in the corridors, and beat a man to death and all that other stuff.
Yeah, that's incredible. See, and there's a lot of things like that that we didn't really know, but you're right there. So you were telling me earlier about your feeling about the barbed wire. You said it felt like it was Afghanistan. Tell me about that.
That's what it looks like, and everybody in this area is saying the same thing. If you go down to that area, it looks like the green zone in Afghanistan, with the barbed wire and the fencing and all the concrete and all the GI still down there on point.
Right.
You know,
Right.
there's still 5,000 National Guards downtown. It looks
Wow.
like we're defending ourselves from an armed invasion, and I guess we are on the point.
Yeah.
Congressman scared to go into the Capitol because they got people coming in there with guns.
Yes.
And threatening them and saying they're going to knock them. You know, it's this whole area is on such an intensely uncomfortable zone right now. And having that stuff like maybe 10 minutes from where I live and all that stuff is going on with this people knowing this is the center of our government.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they can't even walk into the Capitol and be comfortable to do anything because they're looking around their shoulders to see who might try to pull a gun on them and shoot them.
Yes, it's hard to work. Those are some tough working conditions to work under. And you're right there, like you said, you're 10 minutes from there. I can't imagine having to see all of that stuff roll through, set up, and then be on edge. And you know what I worry about? I worry about people that are in the armed forces up there, police forces that are part of this takeover. You know what I mean? I worry about how do we fish them out? What do you think would be one way to root out those people, to vest them and see why? How did they sneak past with all of their rhetoric and Facebook posts? And they're still, we can't trust them. You know what I mean? We can't trust them.
Mm-hmm. The one thing I think of is, especially with the Capitol Police, very simple lie detector tests.
Yeah.
They can always easily go on their social media sites and see where they stand on certain things.
Yeah.
But I mean, to be honest, to bring them in like unannounced, take a lie detector test so you can't prepare for it, and maybe take something to make sure you won't pass it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And have them, because they need to weed out maybe the two guys that committed suicide last week. One was the Capitol Police, one was a DC policeman. We don't know whether they committed it because they were ashamed of what they did or because they didn't do enough.
Wow. See, I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, that was like on Thursday. We had a DC policeman commit suicide, and one of the Capitol policemen also committed suicide on the same day. They don't have any idea what they've done or why they did it. But like I said, it's either because they didn't do enough or because they were involved and felt ashamed.
That's very suspicious. Yes, exactly. Or they could have been getting ready to talk and then they got off. You know what I'm saying? They could have been ready to, rat on somebody else. Because people on the inside, it was proven the next couple of days, they were given a tour before this happened.
Yes.
Because
there was video of especially the women. And I always wondered why white women, when they're protesting, I remember when they were protesting busing in Boston, the hatred on their faces and how ugly they looked. And it was the same kind of vibe with these folks. Okay, they had women telling them, no, you want to go this way. This is where this is. So and so on their megaphones. Like they knew where the hell and the senator from South Carolina, what's his name? The one that kind of helped Biden get over. He
Oh yeah,
said
yeah, yeah, yeah.
the day after he was on television saying nobody even can find my office, and for them to be able to walk right into it and find it and
Yes,
was kind of made me loathe. Somebody gave them some idea what to go and where to go. You
that's
know,
right. That's right. That's right. They had a
he said
roadmap. They had a
nobody
roadmap.
knows. He said people are always asking me how to find me, and this was the place they went so easily. Inside information. They don't know whether it was
Yeah, yeah,
Capitol Police or some of these Republicans people, congressmen, or both.
yeah. Yeah, yeah. I don't get it, and I'm just sorry that we as a country have to go through this. I'm sorry that we as people that want to stay in the light have to deal with this as well. Because some of us out here really, really want to try to heal. You're one of them. My special guest today on Funk from the Front Seat, not on the Grind TV, is Linda Scheider. And she's got a lot of things happening. But we're talking about this political climate that we're in. So post Capitol riot, and they're calling it insurrection or the riot or whatever. The thing that
Sedition is
bothers
more
me,
like it. Sedition is more
sedition,
like it. They just
that
they
makes
just
sense.
seem to be afraid to say that a lot.
Yes,
Some people
that's
say
right.
it, but a lot of the media don't want to seem to go there. But that's what the hell
Yeah,
it was.
that's right. That's right. And you know what? I wish CNN and NSBC, I wish they would stop doing this one thing. It's okay to remind us here and there, okay, this is what happened, rerun that clip. But they're still talking about the same thing. And we as liberals, as Democrats and independents, we have to kind of understand that's kind of feeding things, even though we still need to keep the information in. I don't think it's a good idea to keep looping that cycle and showing it. What's your opinion on that?
I think they need to get off of that green person, the girl in the house from Georgia. I think that because they're just giving her more
Yes,
momentum, and she'll become a just like Trump, a victim. Oh,
yes,
they were picking on me because of my views, and you guys know where I'm coming from, and you like where I'm coming from because a lot of people in her district are still standing behind her
yeah, they are.
with her
Yeah, they are.
views and shit.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are.
So
They are.
if
They
they
are.
give her too much press, she'll become a victim. Even if they throw her out, they'll give her another platform.
That's right. That's right. That's right. And I think it's okay. Let's get our hour or two of news a day. But you turn it on 2 o'clock at night, and you're still seeing those pictures,
The
those images.
same
And
thing.
yeah, and
Yeah.
and that's where we make mistakes at. We should not be advertising for them. You know what I mean? Because that's what it is, free advertisement. People
Mhm.
turn it on and they're like, you and I on this show and we're trying to heal, and people are watching that and they're like, but I can't heal if this thing is on 24 hours a day. So for
20.
everybody out there watching, get your news, get what you need, but don't get consumed by it,
Yep.
because it will eat you up. Before you know it, 6 hours have gone by and you got that image looped in your head and you
Uh-huh.
can't move forward with what you want to do.
And
You know,
your stress level's on 10.
that's right. All the
And
time. All the time.
oh,
Yep.
and
Yep.
still seeing the orange sickle on TV all the time.
Oh
I call
God.
him the orange sickle. You know
Yep.
who I'm talking about. To still
Yeah,
see
yeah.
him constantly just like stroking his ego because he loved the media attention he got.
Yep.
No
That's
matter
right.
good, bad, or whatever, just have me in the cameras.
Yep.
Show
That's
me.
right. That's right. That's right. That's right. So speaking of that, um, there's rumors that there's another party coming out and this and that. But I do like one thing. I loved how Key Largo told him to get out. I thought that was good. I applaud you down in Florida, Key Largo, and because New York's waiting for that ass. You know
Uh-huh.
what I'm saying?
Can't
We
wait to
waiting.
see. I can't wait to see the orange sickle in an orange jumpsuit. You know,
Yes, and his cronies and family, because they right
family.
behind him.
Yes, yes, yes.
All of them.
But
All of them.
in reality, I don't know if that will ever happen. I don't know
Yeah. Yeah.
it because of the way the country is polarized, and he has so many people still all up his behind. Don't
Hmm.
know. Don't know. Don't
Yeah.
know.
You know what's funny? People talk about patriotism, and what it means to certain people, right? There were so many Asian, Afro American, Latin American, Mexican American military people in World War I, World War II, you know, Korean War, Vietnam War. It was a plethora and a mixture of cultures, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Patriots fighting for the country, a country that when they come home treats them like dirt, right?
Mm-hmm.
These people talk about, well, I'm a patriot. How are you a patriot? The
Their
patriots are
whole
the nurses and heroes, not you.
their whole make America great again is we want to go back to the 40s and 50s where we could stomp on the black people and the Asians and whatever and had no problem getting it legally done.
Yep,
Going
yep,
backwards was always a thing. They wanted to be, like when it was in the 50s when the Klan could walk down uh, Pennsylvania Avenue in their sheets and stuff, and nobody could say anything because that was freedom of speech.
yeah,
And how
yeah,
they could be lynching us and Emmett Tills and all those people even before the current Black Lives Matter issues.
yeah.
How this
That's
has been
right.
going on for decades and centuries.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. How do you think we can break or start to break this cycle now that we have control of the House, which we got to thank the lady in Georgia. I forgot her name. She was instrumental in collecting Georgia. What's her name?
Stephanie Abrams.
Yes. Thank you,
Stephanie
Stephanie Abrams.
Abrams.
I never met you, but I'd love to have you on
She
the
is
show.
dynamite. And I think she deserves a post in Biden's administration somewhere because of
Totally.
the things that she accomplished just in Georgia. To win those
Yep.
seats from a white Jew and a black man in Georgia. Like I said,
Yep.
I remember when I couldn't even go to the store without running into Klan rallies. And they actually
Wow.
got them into office. And she
Yeah.
really hustled to do so.
Yeah, she did. She changed the world.
Yes, she did.
And when people look back in history 20, 30 years from now, and the kids are studying in college and high school, they're going to pinpoint this woman.
She will be in the history book somewhere along with
Yep.
January 6th. That
Yep.
and her.
They're going to pinpoint her because she did change the world, and she did make a difference in that state, which then trickled out to everything else that we needed to get done, which is make things a little fair, make things more even, equal keel. And when she did that, she did it with such grace. She didn't even have to brag about it. She didn't have to hey, nah. She didn't, do none of that baby stuff that some people do. And I think that pissed people off even more. Which I was glad. Good trouble. As my man John was saying, good trouble.
Definitely,
you know what
on
I'm
that
saying?
level. Yes, indeed. On that
good
level,
trouble.
For sure.
Yep. And thank God we had the John Lewises of the world that continued the walk, because now they're looking down from heaven, and they can see the torch has been passed, Now, I told people this a while ago, way before Biden even got elected. I said, you know what? I said, we need a stable kind of person. As much as I was not a Ronald Reagan fan, when he came in, he had that wisdom of an older person, even though he really didn't help us. But I understood it from that point of view. Biden, to me, has that. He's got a little bit of the youthful Barack social media thing, but he also brings a lot of that old intelligence to where he knows how to work the system. I'm not saying he's going to be perfect. I'm not saying he's great. All I'm saying is I think him in this spot is I feel comfortable with him behind the wheel. How do you feel?
I do too, because he's not perfect. As you said, he made some very bad decisions in the Congress, but his integrity kind of shines through.
Yes.
If anybody is saying what he really saying what he means and not just saying it for the pacification of people, you can tell that because of his history and because of his integrity, he is somebody that's going to really try to do things. He's trying.
Yes, he is.
He's going to have a hell of a time going against the Republicans. We see that already.
Yep.
But
go ahead. I'm sorry.
But his heart is in the right place. You can tell.
Yes,
his spirit is not on the negative aspect of a Trump.
Yep, that's right. And that's what we needed. And I like you said that key word, spirit. That's one thing that the funk always had. Everybody in the funk always had spirituality. Well, no matter what religion it was, I done ran into all of y'all, all the funketeers, the wives, the cousins, the brothers, the sisters, the sons and daughters. I know them all. I know enough to know spirituality was always important, as it was with me, as it is with my producer, Mr. Mark Lee, the man behind the glass. Thank you, Mark, for keeping the show running. I appreciate you. I love you. And here we are hanging out, Funk from the Front Seat with Linda Scheider, kicking it a little bit. I love to have you on for this is part 3. So, we're gonna set up a part 4, 5, 6, and 7. You're gonna have to pop on every now and then. So what is besides what we just went through, right? If we were going to talk to the kids, I want to get into the kids right now, the youth of America.
All
I
right.
just heard something about 20 minutes ago, right? When I was driving to my spot, my
Uh-huh.
secret spot, they said children that are going to school are not really getting sick. Some of these remote areas and some of these private schools, they said their kids are not getting sick compared to the kids that are staying home. What's your thought on COVID and how we need to get our children back in school? Should that be
Right.
a priority?
I think so. And most people who have money have been sending their kids to private school where they can have all the amenities that will keep them safe. The kids
Yes,
going to regular schools in our country,
Yes.
depending on what kind of economic level they're living in, they might not have the same opportunities to be safe.
yeah,
But
yeah,
I know from experience, I'm seeing my kindergarten granddaughter having real issues about sitting in front of a computer and having classes, especially
yes,
for the little kids. This is, when they first go into school, they're going in to meet kids and hang out with kids, and
yes,
but
yes.
to not have that one-on-one or have a person actually in front of them giving them some guidance and education, it's becoming a real problem. And I think
It
that
is.
maybe next year they're going to see how these kids have lost a lot of their momentum. We're going to have to do catch up whenever they do open the schools and it's comfortable. There's going to be a lot of catching up, and these kids are going to be a year or 2 years behind in
Totally,
development.
totally, totally, totally.
I really see that.
Totally, totally. You know what it is? It is too. I think momentum and routine is very important with children. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I have 2 daughters, and my oldest one, because she dances and she can't do her stuff in the School of Performing Arts. It affects her that way.
Mm-hmm.
Um, my youngest one is 12, right in that wheelhouse where she's developing her social, sensory, sexuality, sensory skills.
Uh-huh.
How do I do this? How do I do that? How do I make it on my own? I'm in this environment and I got to take care of myself, this and that. And like you said, I already, talked to a few friends of mine and I said, this is going to take us back a year and a half,
At
you know,
least.
at
Yes.
least, and then you couple that with the kids that have certain special needs that they need that school environment, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and also all the athletes and musicians and dancers and people that play in the orchestra.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that they did routine wise is going to be completely thrown off. So if you listen out there and you have a child, just understand your child's stress is no less than your own as an adult. And
That's
as
true.
adults, we sometimes forget that. And my good friend Nancy Marie, who I have on this show often, always says that, their stress is very, very real. So let's keep
Mm-hmm.
that in mind, parents, uncles, aunts. We're the older ones. Yes, we think we have stress, but let's not forget our children have stress and need all the attention that we can give them and all the help that we can give them. And there are
Mm-hmm.
plenty of free programs out there to help your children get laptops and help your children get some actual learning and cable and all that stuff in their house. What's up, Sash? How you doing? Another friend of mine dropping on says hello, Linda Scheider.
Hey.
Here we are hanging out with Linda Scheider, Funketeer, all that good stuff, and Funk Mama and everything that goes with that. Funk Grandmama and all of that good stuff. And her beautiful outfit. I love how you got your wrap popping with the glasses, looking good,
Yeah.
looking beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
feeling that. I'm feeling that. I'm feeling that. Yes, Sasha, I'm fine. So let's get back to this. We're here trying to understand and heal. You and I get it. You walk in the light. You're one of the people I look up to. Because I've seen you do, and I've seen you do things that are so incredible on stage and off stage. Tell us
Thank you, thank you.
right now, what is your plan to be involved with your local community and as far as the municipalities and government go? What are some of your local plans going
Well, I
forward?
before the COVID came in, I was going to like the centers where they were giving out food, volunteering. I kind of want to get involved in politics. I think I just don't know quite yet what kind of aspect I want to go, where I want to go with that. But I just want to feel like I'm doing something constructive.
You you are, and you know what? I would be proud to call you Councilwoman Scheider.
Hey,
Okay,
I've thought about it. I just don't know if I'm ready and have the credentials, but I have kind
I,
of
I
thought
you
because
got the credentials. You got it. I see that, Councilwoman Scheider. That's a bumper sticker. Get funky with Councilwoman Scheider. We're gonna change all of this. We're gonna get the funk in the Super Bowl, which I'm still pissed about. I'm mad. I'm mad as hell. I refuse to watch any Super Bowl halftime shows for the past 30 years for that reason. Until we get that in there.
Are they even going to have people in the stands for the Super Bowl, or is it just going to
They
be like the players and the talent? Is it going to be
they're
like
going
empty seats?
no, they're going to invite 17,000 first responders, I heard,
Uh-huh.
nurses, people that take care of people, give them free tickets. And then I
Uh-huh.
heard there's like another 7,000 that like corporate or whoever that just are going to be there. So I think total it's only going to be maybe 1/2 the size or whatever. But
Uh-huh.
NFL, that's all mob related. They're going to play that game. They go that Sunday. We
By
gonna see
hook or
that
by
game.
crook. By hook or by crook, you better
Yeah,
believe
yeah.
it.
I told people a long time ago, I was like, listen, I don't care come hell or high water. The NFL's gonna play. I don't care if they drag out skeletons out there, scrubs, janitors, whatever, supermarket attendants. They're gonna
Card,
play that game.
cardboard people, like they've been doing, having cardboard.
Cardboard people, they'll put that ball in their hand and tell you it's real. This is why I love having you on this show. I love to sit, talk, and laugh with you. And I hope one day I can give you a big hug after
Me
all of this
too.
is over.
Me
When
too. Me
after all of
too.
this
As
is over.
for sure. For sure.
Yep, 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 yep. So tell us a little bit about what you've been working on, the progress of your song, the COVID Blues. Tell us a
well,
little bit about that.
well, unfortunately, my co-writer on that song works on Capitol Hill, and he
Right.
has been kind of overwhelmed the past few weeks,
Yeah.
as you can imagine.
Yes.
So once
Yes.
again, we haven't been able to get this finally done. And
Okay.
I also have some songs of Gary and I that had just had mastered digitally, so I'm going to look through them and see what I can put out soon. If not, and also trying to do a comic book as Gary as Diaper Man, superhero.
Right. Right.
Trying
Right. Right.
trying to get that going on. We had did a test on it, and the kids said, don't feel the storyline. So we're backing up on that, trying to get that done.
Right.
Regrouping on that one. So those are things I'm working on. Also, my website to show my jewelry and some of my
Right.
merchandise that I've accumulated and different things. So I'm working on
What
that
is
as
what is
well.
your website? What is your website?
It's going to be Le Legs Boutique.
La Lace Boutique. I like that. That's beautiful. So you guys keep an eye out for that. All the stuff that Linda Shotta just put down, and here we are chopping it up on this beautiful Saturday. We heard it's going to get a little bad weather, but Sir Nose can't stop the funk, so the funk will be the funk. You know, um, as we look back, and we have gone through these past 4 years of stuff. And my good friend Chrissy Key Rollins, that I have on this show regularly, she always tells me to trust the process, right?
hmm
Do you
Uh-huh.
believe going forward we should trust the process?
Well, it depends on which process you're speaking of. If it's about the politics of this country, we have a
Hmm.
lot of work to do. That's obvious.
Right, 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 right,
But
right, right.
as far as our people, us as people of this country, we also have a lot of work to do
Yeah,
because there's
yeah.
a lot of things that need to be fixed or at least talked about that we're not doing. The division in this country is unreal and unprecedented and
Oh my God, yes.
there needs to be some kind of way to get these people to pay attention to reality and get out of
Yeah,
whatever, get their heads out of their butts, whatever you want to call it. Those
yeah,
things
yeah.
are important and kind of control the future of where we're going to go if we go any
That
further without
that's
some
right.
serious civil war or something even worse going on. And it's
Yeah,
almost
that's
at
what.
that point. I
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Trust me. I live down here amongst 52 hate groups in North
I'm
Carolina
sure.
alone. Yes,
I'm
and I've
sure.
seen some stuff less than 20 miles away from me that
Hmm.
it breaks my heart if I go to certain areas of North Carolina. And people here, for the most part, are kind, friendly, gentle. But do you have the ones where all right, this person is definitely, you can feel it coming off of them.
Of
They look
course.
at you a certain way. They got the rebel flags and
The sneer.
the MAGA and all this other kind of stuff. And now they're even more angry. And the thing is, I told somebody this, and I'm not racist by no means. My kids are biracial. I love all kinds of people. I've been like that my whole life. I didn't understand how come white males were mad at other white males, and they all have the same type of privilege. If anything, they always said, minorities are always angry. But I couldn't, and I asked the guy this. I said, why are you and your daughter, and they were younger. I saw them. I figured they were approachable. So I asked them about a month ago, why are you so angry and why are you voting and did vote for this man? And you know what they told me? Because everybody else did. That was the answer. They said everybody else in my family did, so I had to. I said, but you didn't have to. I said, because think about it. He didn't help you. He doesn't. And I told him straight up. I was like, he hates you more than he hates me because he hates you because you have white privilege and didn't get out. So he looks at you as like something less than me. He treats me like a dog, but he hates you because you look like him and couldn't figure it out. And when I told him that, and we were having a really civil conversation, I drive Uber and it was in my car. And they were very gracious. They understood my point. I understood theirs. Very civil. And I loved them for that. I said, listen, this is how the conversation's got to start in our diners, in our cars, in our bar stools, in
Hmm.
our clubs. We have
Hmm.
to stop being afraid of each other. Like if
Hmm.
as long as they don't have any guns and and nobody's trying to hurt me, I can have a full day's conversation with somebody on the MAGA team,
Hmm.
on the Trump. I can do that because it's what we have to do. Like you said, we have to communicate, Linda. If you were going to talk to somebody out there right now, um, and they were on the opposite side of this thing, but it was a peaceful thing, how would you approach them? What would you tell them?
The first thing I would go even above that would be to go to the congressional people who are still holding on to that steel, and tell them we lied, we were wrong, stop defending something that is non-existent, and go home and maybe teach your children how democracy really works.
Right,
For
right,
the
right.
for my peer group, I would say you've listened to lies for 4 years. You see no evidence of any of these things that they're telling you to be the truth. There's no sex trafficking in Domino's Pizza. Hillary Clinton is not a Satanist eating babies. Where do you even get that kind of stuff from? And if you're in a different reality than I am, you need some help.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
certain things can't be helped because they're so bizarre and so off the wall that if that's really where they're digging into, how are you going to fix that?
Yeah, you can't. You can't. You can't. Now, to our people, how do we need to get our economic viability?
We have to have somebody who's going to be co-signing us to get ahead. Loans, assistance with developing skills, marketable skills. And we have those things out there. The budgets have been cut so deeply that even like the SBA and minority business associations and stuff, Their budgets have been cut back so much under the Trumpism that these people need some kind of something to get them in the door and get them out of the ballpark.
Yeah, yeah, and I agree with you. I think when I ride through different neighborhoods and I see different businesses, I'm always confused about why we all just don't start working together even more now, because the veil is lifted. We need each
Mm-hmm.
other more. The Asian, Afro American, the Latin
Mm-hmm.
community. We need to really get glue tight, crazy glue tight.
But
We need to be so tight because we need each other. We do.
but we
And
haven't. All the liquor stores in Black communities are owned by Middle Eastern people. All the
yeah, yep,
grocery stores are owned by Asians.
yep,
They
yep,
got the loans. They got the up and coming money to get busy. We have
yep,
not been able to get those kind of assets to take control of our neighborhoods.
yep.
And
That's
until
right.
that happens, we're always going to be on the third tier, knocking on the
That's right.
door.
That's right. Like my friend Kevin Harrington always says, the black dollar is billions and billions of dollars. We're
Mm-hmm.
like 1/6 the population, yet we spend damn near the second most amount of money in this country.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm never going to leave out my brothers and sisters of the Native American community, because I watch a lot of back older footage, but I also watch a lot of this newer footage of the demise of the Native American community. So
Mm-hmm.
if you're out there and you're Native American and you're from that community, my friend in Cali, Christella, know that I'm always thinking about you and I'm always fighting for you, because I know
Mm-hmm.
you've had it way worse, and
Mm-hmm.
your communities are way worse devastated with
Mm-hmm.
drugs, with poverty, with abuse of women, with
Alcohol.
just yes, all of that. And people forget that they were the original indigenous people with black people and Mexicans of this country, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and we can't never we always kind of like put them in a different category, but they're in the same category. We're all fighting for equality. We're all fighting for peace, love, and harmony. We just want to be treated fair and equal. I can't go to school with my kids and be worried about them getting shot in the schoolroom.
Mm-hmm.
I can't worry about Linda Scheider and her family being hurt at DC because there's 3 layers of barbed wire, and people are on edge. They want to tear up everything, and I think, Linda, going forward, we I want to get on bigger and bigger and bigger platforms. That's my goal with this funk thing, because I want the
Mm-hmm.
voices like yours to be heard. And everybody watching the show, thank you. I appreciate you guys. You guys are great. Keep sending in your support. I'm not doing any subscriptions yet until my show gets to be a little bit bigger, which I'm working on. I know God will bless us all for that. But
Yes, he
eventually,
will.
yes. But I'm
Yes,
not
he
in a
will.
hurry, because He's using me as I need to be used to get to where I gotta go and to help other people. And and when I have people on like you, it really does my heart good. And I think about my life, and like, oh wow, I'm sitting here now chat with Linda Scheider. You know what I'm saying? I was a little kid reading about you in Soul magazine, pictures with you and Gary hanging out backstage, and now here I am talking to you. So for me, I'm overjoyed. Trust me when I tell you, I used to look for every funkadelic picture I could find,
Well,
go in
just
all the stores.
imagine me coming from a little slum girl in Columbus, Ohio, to end up someplace I never would have dreamed.
That's right.
I had my
That's right.
dreams, but a lot of them came true, and that doesn't happen often.
No, it doesn't. And you know what? And I say this to all my barber shops in Bayshore. I know I'm the one that took all your Jet magazines, because that's where Pictures of Parma Funkadelic was in. So when I used to get a haircut and my dad be sitting up there and I'm sitting there, and all the barbershop people, that was the Black Man's Country Club, the barbershop. That's all we had. And I would be thumbing, and there'd be a little small picture. Parma Funkadelic. Soup, I'm taking that. Man, it's so cool to hang out with you. We're gonna chat a little
As
bit more.
well. Always.
Thank you. I
My
appreciate it.
pleasure. My
I
pleasure.
appreciate it. So now that a lot of us, including your son Garrett, have tried to pivot in the music game,
Uh-huh.
how long? And I know you can't put a time limit on this, but how do you think the overall, and this is funk, the funk community is doing, keeping the funk alive, virtually? How do you think we're doing with that? Should we do something else, or do you think we're trying to do it as best we can?
Well, I think best we can musically. The support has to be there because everybody is on lockdown. They're not being can't perform. So if they're putting out music, support them. That's the only
Yeah,
way that they can maybe feel like they're still in the game at this point.
yeah,
You know,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and it
I
can't
I
just
think
be can't be just about Boosie and George. There's a whole bunch of serious musicians in the P Funk family. Give
that's
them a
right.
listen, give them a shot, and give them some of your love too.
That's right. That's right. And the P Funk women as well. And Dawn on the West Coast, I'm still trying to get you on the show. I've had a Mooka, now I'm trying to get Dawn, but I know it's 9 o'clock over there now. But I'm gonna get it. Don't worry, Dawn. I'm gonna say the right thing, and I'm gonna get you on the show if you watch it because I love your music. The Brides, Paulette, all of that stuff that was done. The P Funk women, they don't take a second seat to nobody. Even
No,
though the guys were doing their
no,
thing, but you
yeah.
ladies, man, you guys were holding it down as well. And us as fans and satellite bands like mine, the Nappy Head Funk Army, we loved all that stuff, and we study it, and we're the keepers now of the funk. As Next Exit would say, one of my favorite groups, Otis Hawk, Benevolent Funk, Michael Get Down Brown, Michael Patterson. I love all y'all. Keepers of the funk. It's our turn now. We're the elders, and once we're able to, and I'm trying to get something together with Nappy Head so we can do a virtual concert, but I want
Uh-huh.
it to be at a certain
Wow.
standard. I don't want it to be at that standard. I want it to be here as far as the quality and production. That's why I haven't done anything yet because I need the quality and production to be right. Um, so,
Well, I just want to give a shout out to my funk sisters. We
sure.
always were there doing what we did, making everything sound more beautiful. Didn't always get the shout outs that we deserved, but we
Yep.
also knew what we were into, and we were always doing our best.
That's right.
Always.
And you know what? You're getting them now. For those that have passed on, the Belita Woods of the world,
Yeah,
but trust me,
Valita, Malia, and Debbie, and so many of my girlfriends that are not here anymore. We put a hell of a stamp on the P Funk music,
yep,
and
yep,
on our own, we did our thing on our own as well because we got
that's right.
that shout to the opening door to get in there and do what we could.
Yep,
And
yep, yep,
hey, like I said, I don't regret a minute of my time with these guys and working with these lovely ladies as well.
yep, that's
We
right.
did what we did, and this history stands for itself.
And raising your families. So you know what I'm saying? And raising your families. So yes, the
Yes.
woman is the stronger species. For men out there, I ain't selling you out, brothers, but let me tell you, the women, they're the ones.
And always
They're
they say the man behind the man, but sometimes we had to step in front too. So hey.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. It's such a beautiful thing to understand the funk philosophy, because there's a grind, there's a philosophy,
Yeah.
there's a movement, it's a mindset, it's an overall embodied being, and once the funk,
One of Gary's biggest saying was always get in where you fit in as far as the music went.
yep,
Like do a solo in here, or you want to do a vocal thing, maybe a octave or something in here, but
yep,
don't make it messy. If it doesn't
that's right.
fit, don't you just back off.
Less is more, and that's a good thing. And you know
Yes.
what? I'm going to carry that philosophy with me. Get in where you fit in. I like that. I'm gonna write that down because I think that's something that needs to be said because we learn from them still. Everything that was left to us um, from that era of the funk. To me, those are my encyclopedias. So when I need to know something, I'll be like, okay, let me put on Promento Shabak Wash that goes Enema Squad, which I still like the original version, by the way, that Garrett put out. All right. Let me just, for the record, me personally, I like that. Okay. Let me put on One Nation and really understand. Let me put on, Groove of Allegiance. Let me study again because I want to take something from that, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
subconsciously. And that music, I tell you, to be in a world of its own, to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and I know I tell you this every time, I feel like all of us went in. All of us funkheads. When y'all got in, I was like, man, we all in. We made it. We to the platform. That's why I'm not gonna continue. I'm gonna be like Stevie Wonder on this. If I gotta march on Washington to get P Funk in the Super Bowl, damn it, I'ma do it. Because I'm still pissed All you Super Bowl people out there, I want the funk in the Super Bowl. Period. The closest it was like George in Detroit when Pittsburgh was playing, and then George walked out there. But I'm like, well, damn, where's everybody else, and how come they ain't playing? You know what I mean? But I get it. I get it. They still mad at the funk. They still mad at it for whatever reason, you know. But to the young musicians out there, up and coming, what would you tell them? What advice would you have for them getting into this business?
Be true to your vision. Make sure
True.
that I've said this before. Make sure the people around you also are tuned into where you're trying to go and what you're about, and
Right.
don't let anyone take your vibe away. If you feel like you're on to something and this person doesn't hear it, knock on another couple of doors. Somebody probably will, because
That's
music
yeah,
speaks for itself. And if you have something to offer, somebody's going to hear it. Might take a
yeah.
minute for them to get to you, but if you got it, they'll see it.
Yeah. Dr. Brookenstein says hello.
Hey,
Linda, he's checking out this show and loving, feeling what you're doing. A lot of you guys that are watching out there, we appreciate the comments. Keep it virtual, keep it coming. We love you. Thank you for supporting the show. Yeah, and also too, with people's publishing, stay on top of your business.
oh,
Because that's very important.
definitely,
Yep.
yes.
And right
Because
now, there's so many outlets.
publishing is where the money is. The record deals and the record sales. But if you own your music, you have
Yep.
that is an unending revenue flow.
That's right. That's right. And there's so many people out there. Everybody has a platform now. And what I want to do for everybody out there listening, know that we're going to narrow some of these platforms. Everybody's doing their thing, but feel free. We need to start cross promoting. I'm very big on that. That's just me personally. I think cross promotion is very important because crossover audience and appeal is what the funk always was about. It's just
Mm-hmm.
that people didn't grab it until later on. But those of
Mm-hmm.
us that were early on, we already knew that because we're like, they're playing rock, they're playing soul, they're playing funk, they're playing,
Gospel,
jazz, gospel.
gospel.
That's right, gospel and all of that. So all of that stuff was already there in place. That's why, when I listen to America East is Young and Chocolate City and all of that stuff from back then, and I get into my learning mode, and I understand. I hear the music. I hear what everybody was doing, and
Mm-hmm.
and I'm really grateful to have had those moments and be able to still have these moments like chatting with you. Um,
And also
so
the lyrics were very political,
yes, they were.
especially for their time, and
Yes, they were.
they're kind of relevant to what's going on these days.
That's right. That's right. A lot of that stuff was foretold when I listen
Yes,
to it now.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? When I
yep,
listen to it now, especially, they say you jive in game and can't be changed, but on the positive side, you're my piece of the rock. And I love you, CC. All of that stuff, people were singing about that George was writing and Gary and Bootsy and all of them and Bernie. I was like, wow, they were way ahead of their time.
yeah.
The greatest band ever, in my opinion. So I'm just going to leave it at that. Um, so the wearing, and I'm gonna loop back around to the top. Here we are hanging out with Linda Scheider. The wearing of the masks and the controversy behind that is like a year and a half old now to me. So why do you think so many people are still caught on to that thing, which is just dumb? Why do you think that is?
In my opinion, for the males, especially the white males and the congressional white males, it's some kind of a macho thing. You know, they're like, you can't tell me what to do. That kind of stuff. That kind of headspace.
Right,
Everybody
right.
else, I think, is like trying to like minimize it. Oh, it's not going to get me, or it's not real. There's
Yeah.
so many like political issues going on around that.
Yeah, you're right. You know what I see? I see a lot of young black males not doing it, and it really upsets me. And I try to explain to them, listen, you're already being, genetically disposed of through drugs and jail.
Yep.
Why do you want to perpetuate this? That, it's just another form of sterilization. I said doctors and scientists, they don't really give a crap about black and white. They study science. This virus is a bug. It's scientific. It's got nothing to do with your skin color, race, creed, and none of that. And I try to tell these young kids, listen, you gotta protect yourself until they tell you not to. You gotta trust somebody. We can't trust everybody, but I know a lot of people that work in the healthcare field, including my kid's mom. People that have gotten the vaccine, people that work at Pfizer.
Hmm.
If people out there, if you guys are scared, why don't you just do a little research, take a minute, and I'm talking to my audience, and understand exactly what not spraying stuff out of your mouth is about. And then maybe just wear your mask around your friends because we love you and we want to keep you here. You guys are the keepers of the next generation. So for those of you watching out there, you guys are the next generation. We need you healthy, we need you strong, and we need you guys to stay fortified because you guys are the ones that helped us win this fight. So the fight is not over just because there's a vaccine, you know. Now, speaking of the vaccine, the new administration came into a crack house. It's gonna take them a minute. They did. They literally crack house windows broke in, poop on the floor, like you said. You know what I'm saying? They did. Yeah, hey, I'm just saying it, right? So now that the cleanup has begun, it's going to take about a year, right, to get this thing cleaned up, to get the car moving again, right?
But look at how many of people we're going to lose between then and now. The
That's my point.
vaccines have some don't have much success rate. We don't know how long it lasts before your immunity runs out. There's so
Yep.
many questions because they came up with it so fast that
Yeah.
they're going to have to wait and see on how everybody responds to it. There's
Yes,
people
that's
that are
right.
afraid to take it and they have justifiable reasons. But
Yep.
I feel personally, if we take it, at least we're trying to make sure that it doesn't get any worse.
That's right. That's right.
Because if it keeps on, we've lost over 500,000 people in less than a year. World War II lasted 4 years, and there weren't that many deaths in a
That's right.
world war. A world
That's
war.
right.
This is just
Yep.
in our country where we've lost almost 500,000 people or
I
more
agree with you 100%. I agree with you
in less
100%.
than a year. So I mean, if the vaccine can give us some kind of safety net, it's better than not.
Yep, yeah, I agree with you. And like you said, it's a personal choice. I tell people, listen, especially our generation, remember back in the day they used to give us the polio, the measles, the
Yeah,
diphtheria on a
yeah,
sugar cube, right?
yeah,
On a sugar cube, give it to the
yeah,
kids.
and you
And
couldn't go to school without it.
that's right. And I tell people, listen, we lived through that. Our generation. I was like, and I tell young people, this is what you guys got to do. You got to understand the how it's going to affect you long term. I said, had I not, and my mom and dad not had done that for me then, I wouldn't be here now. Because those things back then would kill you. I said it's the same thing. They're trying to set you up long term. You get the vaccine now, so 20 years from now you can play with your kids. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I pray every night, I pray every morning, right? In my meditation, and I ask the creator God, I was like, why are so many people still drinking the Kool-Aid that was connected with the political thing, that was connected with the orange guy that you said?
Yeah, the
It's
orange
a whole
sickle.
thing.
The orange. I call him
Whole
the
thing.
orange sickle.
The orange sickle. And I like that. I learned two things today. The orange sickle and get in where you fit in. Y'all heard that right here, folks, in the front seat. Two things I take away.
If
Right?
it wasn't the hair being orange, it was the skin being orange. And sometimes it was both. He just looked like
Yeah, I know.
a orange sickle to me.
Which was hideous.
The most comfortable way I could go at him. You look like
Yeah,
a
it was
damn orange
hideous.
sickle.
It was hideous.
And sick and definitely vanilla on the inside.
Yep, it was hideous. It was hideous. Really was. That's why I could barely bring my eyes to look at it half the time. Mark and I always joke about it. Mark Lee, my man behind the glass. So I'm gonna bring him in a second because he's got a question for you. But him and I have so many off the air jokes that we can't share. You know what I'm saying? Dr. Brooks loves that, Linda. He's laughing at that. He's laughing at that. He's like, yeah, the orange sickle. That's right. He's laughing. So
And my
Mark,
so let me add this. My favorite image
okay.
is that
Uh,
balloon they were flying in London where he had the diaper on and the cell phone in his hand, and he was
yes,
orange. I mean, like I
yes,
said, they nailed him to the cross on that one. Every time I
yes,
saw it, I was like breaking hysterical laughter because it
yep,
was so much of his image that they had really captured with that damn balloon.
yep. There's a lot of things that did make us laugh. The Statue of Liberty kicking him out. I thought that was funny. LeBron James pinning his shot. Biden on LeBron James's body, but Biden's head pinning his shot on the backboard. I thought that was good. There was a few of them that were really creative. But speaking of which, and I got to ask you this. I don't know who started it, but the Bernie Sanders emoji that was going
Oh,
around
the
where he was sitting and everything, he was sitting on the mothership. I thought that was hilarious. As much as I love Bernie, I'm glad he had a sense of humor because they put that in everything. It went viral. I thought that was
t-shirts,
hilarious.
t-shirts, the
Yes,
whole nine. But the
I
one was
loved
like
it.
he looked like he was kind of pouting. He was sitting all by himself. That's what
Yeah,
I got from it. He was sitting off to the side, all hunched
he was
over,
cold.
looking like he was not really wanting to be there.
What I got from it is he was freezing. He was. That's what I got from it. He had his mittens on, and I was like, "Oh, he's cold."
It wasn't that cold that
It
day.
wasn't that
Trust me.
cold.
No,
Yeah, then
no.
he was pouting. He
He
was
just looked.
pouting.
He looked like he was sitting over to the corner in his pout mode to me. I'm
Yeah, he was
sorry.
pouting. There. Yeah,
I
and you know
didn't
what?
get that.
I'm glad you said that because he did have a pouty puss on.
Yeah. And you see, he was sitting way over to himself, all by himself in the corner. I
Yeah,
was like, okay. So they got on the mittens, but I mean, his whole vibe looked very negative to me. I'm sorry.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, and you know what? Maybe he was angry or whatever. Him and Biden, who knows? It'll
Yeah,
come out.
kind of
It'll,
pouting. He looked like he was kind of pouting. I'm sorry.
that's right. He was. It was funny, but you're right. He didn't look happy. Whatever
Nope.
his thing was, he did not look happy. I'm gonna bring my man Mark Leo. Mark behind the glass, pop on. I know you got one question for Linda. So
Yeah, I actually had
again,
that question,
Linda
and I
Schneider.
also
Yes, my dear. Yes, my dear. What is it? What's up?
no, I also had a question and a statement. One, y'all were talking about business and the need for business leadership in our community, and I actually saw something that I really
Yeah.
was impressed with, which was I actually went to one of the gas stations near where me and Zach live. We're actually in the same apartment complex area and
Uh
everything. And there was a
huh.
young gentleman that had a line of jackets, and there was another person that was also in the business community, and of course I'm involved in the business as well. And they were actually saying the same thing that y'all were saying, that we need to actually unify and get together as young folks. So these all were probably in the under 30 crowd. So I was just real proud
Yeah.
to see them have that moment there in that grocery store when this young gentleman came in with his jacket that he had designed himself and everything. So I've actually already tagged him on Instagram, and I'm gonna put him in touch with Zach. Who knows? Maybe he'll make a nappy head Funk Army jacket and all of that, since he does his own line and everything. So I have already tagged up and connected with him, and we'll see what we can do in that regards. The one
Thank
thing
you,
that
sir.
I was also
I'm.
seeing as a question that I was asking you about is y'all were talking about education and all of that. And I had seen a statistic where one of the groups that is being impacted a lot by this whole online learning is folks with disabilities. So they're saying that young kids with disabilities are oftentimes the ones that are severely impacted. So I was just wondering your thoughts on that, and if you were seeing that in the DC area, because we do know that a lot of times when they're doing online learning, they need to have that kind of like interaction with community, even more so than some of our regular students. So I was just wondering your thoughts on that as I was reading that earlier as y'all were talking.
Well, I have heard from different educators about the situation with special education children where they need that interaction and the touchy feely of a in class situation, and so they're being neglected. That is bad enough. But then also, I'm saying, like I said before, the kids that are like entering kindergarten, first, second, third grade, who also are used to being able to vibe and interact with their peers and are not, it's kind of difficult for like a 5-year old to sit in front of a computer for 4 or 5 hours and pay attention, So I feel like in a situation like that, they're going to come into school when it finally does open up within in class situations where they're going to be a little bit behind. They're going to have to adjust physically and emotionally to that change. And it's probably going to take them a minute to get adjusted again. because it's not normal anymore. You know, it's kindergarten was supposed to be you meet new kids, you're in like whole environment. Oh, I've got them in school and lunch hour and recreation. All that's been knocked away.
Yeah, that's a good point. You know what it made me think about? And I'll ask both of you this while we're hanging out again, my producer Mark Lee, but our guest today on Funk from the Front Seat, Linda Scheider's hanging out with us, 9 on the Grind TV. I often wondered, now that all of our children that went to public school and private school, whatever, how do they stack up against kids that have been homeschooled all their life? What do you guys think about that?
I actually think those that have got homeschooling, and I'd love to hear Linda's thoughts, actually have somewhat of an advantage. It kind of reminds me of some friends of mine that were already doing online education as teachers. So, online education has been going on for a while, but those that were already in the idea of teaching online, they had an advantage over teachers that had to learn the skill sets of what online teaching was all about.
Yeah.
So the same thing I think happens with the students. So those students that already were engaged in home learning, already involved in the number of ways that we do Zoom learning and Zoom education, I think that they've got a severe head start over some others that have to learn the skills. But what are your thoughts, Linda?
That's fair.
I kind of agree with you on that point. The only thing I worry about is the socialization, because if you're in that little bubble and it's like one-on-one, you and your parents, you're not getting any kind of physical activity or socializing with other people, then you kind of like it's kind of like a two-edged sword to me.
Right.
Of course, you're going to be able to concentrate because you only got that one. You have no distractions. As long as your mom and dad say you do this by the end of the day, you've got all your work done. But then there's other aspects of education that are being neglected in that situation to me.
That's right. Yeah. I know I asked my daughter what she was taking this semester, and she said health and sex education, my youngest daughter, my 12-year-old. And, fortunately, we got it set up pretty good for her and Kayla. They're in the group that actually got the best that they can have for now, even though they're not in the school. But I thought, and I even talked to this with their mom, I said, how are they going to physically show kids this stuff online, about certain things? And she was saying that was one of the things where we had and I'm on the PTA down here. We had a parent-teacher conference about that because they were giving parents the option to have their kids opt out of that class until they go back to school. Because it's such an important physical, hands-on, how babies are made type of thing, and you don't want to confuse it with all the other crap that they're watching on the internet. So some parents are like, yeah, that makes sense. So down here in North Carolina, I got to say, the school district, you're lacking in some aspects, but you're doing well in most aspects. And I'm very proud of the people down here in North Carolina because you're doing the best job you can do with the budget you have. I see the school buses, 2 or 3 of them, pulling my complex every day with those kids' food, breakfast and lunch every day. The kids, the moms and parents go to school bus, they get those hot lunches and those free breakfasts, and then they go teach their kids at home. So in North Carolina, kudos to you. I don't know what other states are doing, but I got to say I'm proud of you guys for doing that.
They're not doing it in Maryland, I can tell you that. And I don't think D.C. is either, or Virginia.
Wow.
That's not happening in this area. No way. That's amazing.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, North Carolina, they are. Mark can tell you every day that school bus is there. Okay, I'm sorry.
That's another issue people bring up about this homeschooling, that these kids that were getting like free lunches and breakfast are not able to do that. So evidently that must be a state by state situation, how they decide to deal with it. Because I know in this area that is not an option. You're not going to get people delivering food to your house for your kids.
That's sad. That's sad. And the good thing, and this is how I knew about it, I went and talked to them, and they said they gave me food when they have extra. You could be an adult. If they have extra, once they're done feeding the kids, they can't bring it back to the school. They actually give it away. So, I'm only saying here, and I'm sorry it doesn't happen there, but it should be happening.
No. And as far as like the food banks, it's got to the point now where they might have food, tell you to come there at 8:00 in the morning. By 12, everything's gone.
Yeah.
The food bank I worked in has been having issues because they can't keep the supply fast up to the demand. It's too much demand, not and people are just like, no, we can't do everything. We can't do everybody. So one by
Yeah,
one, they're
yeah.
just closing them down.
And you're right, Linda, and that's sad because we are still in a crisis situation with the food. Because there's lines here that start at 3 o'clock in the morning
Yep.
just to get to the
Hmm.
food bank. Mark can tell you. Mark can tell you.
Hmm.
Mark, we was talking off air, yourself and Linda and myself,
Hmm.
and we was talking about, the political climate and the Capitol. And did you have any comment or question for Linda concerning, the rioting in DC?
Yeah, the one question I was curious about is she mentioned how it's like almost like an armed encampment over there, looking like Afghanistan and everything of that nature. But I was wondering
Hmm.
how long does she feel that that kind of environment will exist? Because we do know that the Democrats have taken control, rightfully so, of the House and the Senate, and of course we've got Biden and Kamala. But there are a number of them reactionary elements that are out there. So I was just wondering your vibe, Linda, as to how long you think that you'll be in that kind of environment in DC, because a lot of times even our bigger news media aren't covering that kind of environment and realizing that it's that kind of a feel for residents. But I was just wondering, as a resident, how long do you think you'll be in that kind of environment?
Well, so far they're saying it's probably going to go to the end or middle of March, but it depends. If anything more inciting comes along, they might have to stay here longer. Worst thing about them being here, of the 15,000 and some guys that were here entrenched, hundreds of them got the COVID virus from that environment they were in, being so close up. They had them sleeping on the floor in the Capitol House. They weren't giving them a proper shower and food and stuff. They were like really treating them kind of uncomfortably. And when they left, hundreds of them ended up with the COVID.
Well,
That's so sad. And I saw
They
that
came.
picture, which,
They
oh,
came
I'm
here
sorry,
to
go ahead.
help. They came here to help and got treated so disrespectfully. So there we have
Yeah,
more recruits for the left, for the right. More recruits going
yeah.
home saying, "Yeah, that's what they were talking about. That's why we were. Yeah, we need to. That's kind of the kind of recruiting things that help this rightist movement get people
Yeah, yeah. I saw that picture. And I was like, why are they bivouacking on the floor?
on the
You know,
floor.
I couldn't figure
On
that.
the
I couldn't
floor.
figure that out. I thought they would have brought trailers with them,
Nope.
or
Nope.
tents to set up somewhere or something like that. I
Nope.
never understood how that went down.
And
I
like I
didn't.
said,
And
they said hundreds of them went home with COVID because of how they were
wow,
treated in the environment they were in. First of
wow,
all, the
that's sad.
Capitol was full of virus because of the people coming in there. I don't think they had a chance to
Yeah,
even clean that place out before they brought them in. So there was probably
yeah.
virus all over, hanging all over the walls and stuff,
Yeah, 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 yeah. That's so sad. I keep going back to what you said when they were defecating in the corners. That's the
Yeah,
most despicable thing I've ever heard.
yeah.
It's
Just along
crazy.
with the Confederate flag, they came in here and they just like went berserk.
well,
Wow,
all their
wow. That's so sad.
frustrations, all their frustrations out on the floors and the walls and oh man, it was disgusting. Disgusting.
It was.
Uh,
So Linda, I'm gonna ask you your final thoughts. Again, we're hanging out with Linda Scheider. And it's been a pleasure having you on the show, Funk from the Front Seat. This is my new platform, Nine on the Grind TV. So it's the first time for you on this platform. I'm trying to make it
okay.
grow and spread and kind of spread it out a little bit and help it uplift itself. My main man, producer, director, Mr. Mark Lee, main man behind the glass. Thank you, Mark, for all your hard work. Mark, um, before I come back on, could you give Linda the full screen so she can give her parting thoughts to the world at large and the community? Linda, give us one thing of positive energy and affirmation that you can send out to everybody.
Okay. Well, like I said, we're looking forward to a new administration downtown. Hope that he can accomplish most of the things he's trying to, with a little help from the Republicans if he gets it. Musically, you guys keep rocking, keep funking, and I love you all. Peace and love. Bye bye.
That was Linda Scheider. You know how we go out. Peace, love, and harmony. Thank you for joining It's been another great show. I'm going to roll out with this.
Yeah. Thank you. Peace, love, and harmony. The great Gary Scheider. Linda Scheider was my guest today. Next week, I got Lisa Graham hanging out with us. Yes, yes. Lisa Graham, Art Awareness Project out of Yakima, Washington. Look forward to that. Everybody out here, thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting on my shows. I love you. It's been beautiful. You guys are great. I'm working with the sun right now. Thank you for hanging out with us through all the technical difficulties that we had today. But Sir Nose cannot stop the funk. Stay active on the chat line. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and all that good stuff. To the Nappy Head Funk Army, y'all stay true, stay strong. Know that we coming back somehow with God's help. Also, shout out to Dr. Brookenstein. Shout out to Curtis Wilcox, taking care of all that good artwork. Shout out to Miss Pat, Aquarius Rising Art, who takes care of my cards and graphics and things like that. Also, I want to make sure everybody knows that what we do on this show is a little bit of everything. So we want the funk to be the heartbeat, but we want it to spread around the world using the power of the one. Don't forget, tonight, check out Bootsy Collins Jam Cruise, 9 p.m. Go online at BootsyCollins.com and get a ticket. I think it's $10. It's going to be worth it. I'm going to be there hanging out with Peppermint Patty and Bootsy. And everybody out there, know that I love you. Know that I care about you. Peace, love, and harmony, y'all. I'm out. Let me put on my funk glasses. There we go. And let's get funked up. Let's take them home, y'all. I said the funk, getting ready to go. Funk, getting ready to roll. Funk, getting ready to go. Funk, getting ready to roll. Funk, I got to go. Got to go. DC, stay safe. Georgia, stay safe. Ohio, love you. Hi, Brenda. Yes, yes. Texas, you in the house. New Jersey. Bye-bye, Sicily. I love you. Yeah. I know you're feeling it, Sicily. California, Alaska, Canada, Dubai, Australia. Love you, Carmen. Love you, Whitney. Germany, Florida, my man Al Rashad. Yes, check out his new release, Al Rashad Project, y'all. Leroy Cooper, I feel you. Texas, Jeff Roberson, what's up? Yeah. Long Island, Bayshore, Strong Island for life, y'all. All my peace out there. Make it funky. I see y'all same time, same place next week.